I'm so happy that I got my first official Rolex, the whole experience. I sat down with Steve, I had a good chat. He also said a couple of things that really shocked me. I'm not kidding. That was a clip from a video I made right after the visit. You can tell I'm talking in the car, and yes, I'll talk more about what happened and some of the things that shocked me. But first, let's start from the top. Okay, so I was sitting at my desk working and I got the call. I think I put my name last November of 22, right? And even back then, there was still a little bit of mania about Rolex and the wait list and all this kind of stuff. And so I didn't know what to expect. It is now, I think today is August 16th. So it's been a while. It's been a little bit of wait. I have no purchase history, but you know, you've watched the videos about my AD visits. This camera's heavy. I'm holding it up, trying to talk into it on a just spur of the moment. I was sitting at the desk when I got this beautiful text. Would you look at that? To tell you the truth, I'd almost given up on hearing from Steve. Not that I wouldn't get a call eventually, but I put it out of my mind. I stopped thinking about it. During this waiting period, another watch, of course, had caught my attention, the Grand Seiko. And not just any Grand Seiko, but one with a particularly captivating dial. I was so close to pulling that trigger. I had it marked on Chrono 24, but with just one text, all thoughts of the Grand Seiko vanished. So I reached out to Steve. I asked, how long can you hold on to it? Initially, I thought maybe I'd pick it up on Saturday, I'm working. However, Steve indicated that he'd be around only until 7:30 that evening. So it was clear. It had to be today. And I wasn't going to risk that watch going to someone else. This is a big moment for me. I'm right here parked in the South Coast Plaza. There was actually an accident on the way over here. It was an 18-minute delay. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, you know what? Is there going to be traffic? Yeah, there was an announcement of traffic closure. And I thought, great, this is perfect. On the day I drive, I finally get the call. And there's a traffic jam all over the place. Yeah, that wasn't fun. No one likes traffic, but on the day I'm going to finally pick up my new Rolex, get that full AD experience. Wow, what great timing. But in the end, I got there in time and was sitting there in my car thinking about the long journey to get to this moment. So I'm going to pick up my first official Rolex watch at the AD. With Steve, I've mentioned him before. Poor guy, he's been in all my other videos where I talk about my experience with going to the AD. And before I walked inside, I decided to catch my breath and talk about, what I was going to do when I met with Steve. What was the plan?
Okay, I'm here. I don't know if you can see that, but right behind me is the Rolex Boutique. I'm not going to record anything. I'm going to take a few pictures. I think they'll allow that. But I don't want this YouTube or social media thing to get in the way of my experience.
So I went into the boutique and Steve walks up to me. He seems almost apologetic. And there's a reason for that, but I'll get to that in a moment. Now, I'm wondering, how does it go? Do they bring out champagne? Are there dancing girls? Maybe a violin section? Yeah, okay, I'm kidding. Because all I got was this. Yes, a water bottle. Well, at least it said Bucherer. It did have the store branding, haha. So after we settled the bill, Steve is getting my watch ready. If you're wondering, I thought about bringing a cashier's check, but I didn't know the final amount. So I paid on my credit card. It wasn't a problem. And here is that beautiful watch. And that's when Steve said the first thing that rather shook me. I'll let my other self describe it. Okay, so I finished up with Steve. It was a great experience. I have my watch. There was another thing that kind of shocked me too. You'd be surprised at how many watches they have in the back. That's all I'm gonna say. I'll talk more about that in the video, but you would be shocked. Yes, it's true. Look at this picture. There are shells behind this cover. And when they opened it to get my watch, I got a glimpse inside, and I was really surprised. There must have been at least 30 watches in there. When they say no, we don't have any watches to sell, no, they have watches to sell. So in fairness, maybe those are all allocated already, but it was a shock to see so many watches when all you see are empty displays inside the store. And I didn't even mention the back room where I'm sure they have even more watches.
And then, like I said, he said a couple of things that kind of shook me. And I also want to really talk about the atmosphere, the vibe that I got in this AD, because I think the times have changed.
That wasn't the end of it. There was something even more shocking. And what I felt was confirmed when Steve told me this. There had actually been 2 opportunities to get me a blue dial Datejust. Yes, you heard that right. While I was waiting for my OP, he had 2 chances to get a Datejust allocation from me.
When I think back to my first visit in November, where there was this kind of energy and intensity, and what I'm feeling now from the ADs, it's quite different.
And I'm sitting there thinking, wait a minute, hold on. I'm trying to untangle all the implications of that. How did I feel about this? Well, kind of upset, but not really. I had told him that I wanted my OP first, so it wasn't his fault. But I had also requested a Datejust. And I'm thinking, well, maybe get me that Datejust first, and then when the OP gets here, get me that one too. But no, it worked out just fine because I changed my mind. And to give you a hint, here's a quick picture. Yes, I think you can guess what that means. So in the end, yes, it did work out. But I'm also thinking, wow, I sat there all this time assuming it's so impossible for me to get a watch. And 2 Rolex models were available to me? What? I was getting a little huffy. But then I realized what it really means. The market is getting easier and really slowing down. The blue dial fluted bezel Datejust is not exactly easy to get. And Steve had 2 bites of the apple. Wow. And here's a final shot from the car. As you can see, I color coordinated my shirt with a dial. So I'm going to do a first impressions video and talk all about this beautiful watch. I'll see you in the next video.